Welcome to the University of Michigan Cardiovascular Center. We're here today to answer a number of your questions and make you feel comfortable with your upcoming cardiac catheter ablation or device implant. I'll be walking through each step of the process to make sure you have a better idea of what you'll be experiencing while you're here. When you arrive at the building, you can either have one of our valets park your car for you, thank you, or you can enter the gates at the end of the circular drive and find a spot in our multiple floor garage. You'll enter the building here on the 3rd floor, that's right, which is the main entrance to the Cardiovascular Center. That's what happens when you build a hospital on a hill. Here we are at the information desk where our helpful staff is ready to answer any questions you might have. For the purpose of your cardiac catheter ablation or device implant, which we'll refer to as your procedure, let's talk about all the things you should have done prior to coming here. Let's face it, there's no point going any further if you haven't taken the proper steps. The day before your visit, you should drink plenty of water and avoid caffeine and alcohol. You can eat your usual diet unless told otherwise, but be clear that you cannot drink or eat anything after midnight, so you want to be sure that you're properly hydrated at that point. It's important to share all the medications you're taking with your doctor prior to your procedure so you can establish your medicine schedule for the period immediately before your visit. Ensure that you bring at least one responsible adult with you who can help you before and after the process and make important decisions on your behalf if need be. For the purpose of this video, we'll refer to that person as your family from this point forward, but it's really anyone you can trust to bring you to and from the Cardiac Procedures Unit, remain at the CPU during your entire procedure, and return the following day after discharge to take you home if you will be spending the night with us. Even if you travel by taxi or public transportation, we still insist that you have an adult with you. Your procedure cannot start until the CPU staff speaks with the person who will be with you during the procedure. It's very important that you bring the following items: a list of all medications you're taking, including supplements and over-the-counter medicines, a list of your known allergies, your health insurance cards, and your blue University of Michigan hospital card. Have you got all that? Make sure that you do, because for the remainder of your visit, you'll be asked about this information more than once. It might get annoying after all. Didn't you answer those questions already? But please understand that we intentionally do this because it's very important to check this information multiple times to ensure that we give you the best possible care. Right around the corner from the information desk are the 3rd floor elevators. We're trying to get to floor 2A, which is the floor below us. Simply press the button labeled 2A between the 2nd and 3rd floor buttons and voila, you've arrived at the right place. Your family can get comfortable here in the waiting area with free Wi-Fi, magazines, iPods, games, and other activities. You'll move over here to the desk for check-in, where the receptionist will help you through the process. At this point, the receptionist will alert the waiting room coordinator that you have arrived. The waiting room coordinator will tell you and your family what's expected of them and explain their role in the process.
This is the family waiting area. You'll be waiting out here while he's in his procedure. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask me?
Lockers are available for your personal belongings so that no one in the waiting room needs to keep it with them. Your family will be responsible for holding the key. All right, you're checked in, your family's spoken to the waiting room coordinator, and now you're ready to begin preparing for your procedure. So let's do it! Our first step is the scale room. Here you'll be weighed prior to your procedure. Must be a calibration issue. Next, you'll move into the prep room, which is the last step before moving into the lab. First, you need to remove your clothes and change into one of these fashionable hospital gowns. At this point, we'll meet your clinicians and talk to each one about their role in today's procedure. Now, typically, you'd be introduced to the physician assistant or nurse practitioner, a fellow who's obtaining specialized training through a fellowship, a registered nurse or RN, and a cardiovascular technologist. Of course, different people require different clinicians, so don't be alarmed if this isn't the exact lineup you meet. Ooh, does anybody feel it drafting? Next, you'll undergo a series of questions, probably the same questions the receptionist asked you minutes earlier. Really? Again? Well, this is intentional as it helps us double check your information. You'll also sign a consent form at this point. It's here in the prep room that you'll also get set up for the procedure itself. The CPU staff will need to shave any areas that need to remain clean, such as the area on your chest where EKG patches will be placed. This is very important in order to receive a clean signal from the patches. Of course, if you're an Olympic swimmer, you can skip this step. A nurse will also start an intravenous line here as well. This IV is necessary to give you medicine that comforts you during the procedure. Now that you're properly prepped, the clinicians will take you into the lab itself. They will review the procedure one final time and answer any last-minute questions you may have. After that, you're ready. You'll be in here for 3 to 4 hours being treated by some of the best cardiac electrophysiologists in the world, while the waiting room coordinator updates your family on your progress and addresses any concerns or questions they might have. Once the catheter ablation or device implant is finished, the waiting room coordinator will also connect your family with the attending physician who will go over the procedure and explain the results. You'll be moved into a recovery room where your clinicians can monitor your health for the next few hours. And if you like, you can have limited visitors while you're here. Once you've been moved here, they'll need to remove the small plastic tube that allowed them access to your veins or arteries in a process called the sheath pull. In order for the entry point to heal and stay healed, you'll need to spend several hours lying completely flat at the hospital with very limited movement. After your flat time, you'll be able to walk and our nurses will be there to help you if needed. Depending on the procedure performed, you may go home after you have been observed in the recovery area for a couple of hours, or you may spend the night. After your care team believes you are safe to leave the center, you'll be discharged. After a nurse reviews discharge instructions with you and your family, they can now take you home, where you should continue to rest and have someone monitor you for the remainder of the day. During this same period, you are not allowed to drive due to the medication that will be left in your system. Again, make sure that your family's aware of these limitations and can arrange any transportation that might be necessary. If you or your loved ones are at all concerned about your health following the procedure, contact either the Cardiovascular Center or the emergency room to discuss your issues and determine if there's any need to return to the hospital. Remember, these types of complications are extremely rare, but all concerns are valid. It's your health, and we want you to be as proactive as possible. If you'd like to go over any aspect of this visit in more detail, or if you have a question that was not addressed in this video, you may call the Cardiovascular Center at 888-287-1082. We look forward to your visit and wish you the best of luck on your upcoming cardiac catheter ablation or device implant.